Good evening everybody, my name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like my videos, please smash that like button, please do subscribe. Good evening. It's Monday evening, the sun is still out, it's boiling in here. I think it's got a bit cooler than it was. No, it's 23.5 degrees centigrade in here. It's absolutely boiling. It's hard not to feel irritable, you know. So good evening. Alexa, what's the time, please? Alexa, the time. What's happened with Alexa? Alexa, Alexa, what's the time, please?
The time is 6:15 p.m.
Yeah, the sun is out this evening. I've got to take my dog for a walk later on. There's no hurry. I live by myself and I've got all the time in the world to do everything. I'm cleaning up, I really am. I'm clearing up and I'm putting things away, and I'm looking out for somewhere else to live. It's come to the point where I'm just sat in here waiting for noise, and it's not healthy for me. It's affecting my mental health, it's upsetting me, and I need to start again and not make the same mistakes like I have done here. So I'm really vigorously trying to tidy up, put things away, and then when I do have an offer of somewhere else, then I can just get up and it's all ready to go. It's going to take ages, it's going to take months, but at least I think the incentive was getting letters saying that people want to come in to inspect my sockets and my light switches. So I'm actually getting motivated to tidy up and sort things out. I've actually sorted out 3 cupboards. You'd be surprised what you find at the back of your cupboard. I've been here 4 years, I'm finding things from 2020, you know, that have expired. What happened was I faced harassment and bullying, and I just didn't want to do anything in this place, and I just left it. And I'm now trying to sort out 4 years of built up, clogged up mess. The mess of my mind. I got when you're constantly harassed and bullied and you can't even live and breathe in your flat, you don't want to live in it. And that's what happened to me, and I just sat there. I didn't wash up, I didn't do anything. Now I'm starting to say, fuck this, you can't live like this, and it's all getting sorted out. Even if I do one thing at a time, sort out one cupboard, do this, but it was having the letters saying that, you know, they want to come in and check the electricity, and they want to come in and check fire doors. I want to go somewhere a bit smaller with not so many people, and I'm getting older now, you know what I mean. I just want to go somewhere nice and quiet, if that's at all possible. Well, I want some life in the place, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's what when I came back from walking Max, I started cleaning up, putting things away, watching the news, and I'm sorry to hear Princess Anne is in hospital. I hope she makes a speedy recovery. Concussion isn't very nice. I've suffered from it myself, a head injury. So let's hope Princess Anne recovers well. And it must be quite serious if she's had to cancel engagements in other countries. It must be quite bad, mustn't it? So this evening is just much the same. take Max out for a walk, come back, but I'm going to relax when I come back. I've had enough of tidying up. I haven't written in my journal for a couple of days. It's been too hot. I know I've been working, like tidying up and putting things away, but I just don't feel like writing at the moment. I know what's the things, it sounds funny, right, these things that are happening to me, and it makes a funny story, but when you go through it, it's quite hurtful and nasty. So it's normally every time I go out in the evening, when the guy upstairs comes back from work or wherever he's come back from, and then when I go out in the evening I get a load of stick. I don't know why. So I'm thinking the obvious thing to do, and it's not because I'm scared or afraid or anything. I'm tired of it. I don't want to live like this anymore. Never wondering when the noise is going to start again, never wondering what's going to happen, like you've caged in your own prison because you think that the noise is going to start up again and you're just waiting for it. And that's how people control and manipulate you, you see. Banging, coughing. I went into the co-op early this afternoon, and I didn't take the camera in there because I told you these people think it's a game, and it's not funny because it's happening to me and it's nasty and it's spiteful. So you've got an old lady with grey hair walking around the store coughing. I've done a video, it's got 1,000 views of that stupid coughing. Well, they was doing that again. If I'm not going to be able to meet anybody normal and real, then I've got to get on with my life and just carry on with it. And no doubt my mother has rung again, calling me Ginestra, as she normally does, and I don't actually know where I put my phone. I'm sure I heard it go off, and I wasn't wearing a coat. I took my bag out, so where have I put my iPhone? I don't know, we'll find it anyway, but I'm sure I heard my phone go off earlier on, and I didn't answer it at all. I'm Jennifer's daughter, and when she goes over the phone, she's talking to her daughter. Her husband Derek is dead. And I know she's my mum, and I know, mum say I love you and this and that, and I'm thinking of you and I care for you, but really, don't you think I'm old enough to find someone I want to be with, rather than have my mum keep ringing up on the phone and sounding like a boyfriend? Really? I'm glad the money stopped. My mum was sending me envelopes with money in. That is dangerous for thieves. And you know, I can look after myself. It's a struggle for everybody, but you need to learn, and you've got to let people breathe. You've got to let them go so that they can make mistakes and learn from them. Because if you keep smothering somebody and keep holding on to them, you're harming them. You're not doing them any good at all. But what I don't understand with my mum is that she keeps saying, I care for you, I really do, Ginestra. And then when I go up there, I get shouted at and made fun of. And I know she's elderly, but she was doing it before she got elderly, if you know what I mean. Alexa, LBC radio. It's alright, Max. Right, it's next door's dog. They've slammed the door and the dog's going to start barking. Alexa, LBC radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
In a civil service, a military service as such. Certainly for Finland it has been very useful, and I must say that given that we have the 1,340 kilometer border with Russia, it's been very useful as a deterrent.
Very interesting. Talking of Finland and things military, of course, we remember the Great Winter War when Finland held off the Soviet Union for so long and really kind of fought them to a kind of stalemate, although you had a much smaller armed forces at the time. I just wonder whether you look south to Ukraine and feel a sort of sense of brotherhood with what's going on there and see what they're doing as, in a way, parallel to what happened back to you in the 1930s, 40s.
We certainly do. I have to add, though, that the Winter War was 105 days, and then the War of Continuation lasted quite a lot longer, but we do have a certain sense of understanding of what's going on in Ukraine, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of Finns support Ukraine avidly. We feel for the Ukrainians. We understand what they're going through when a colonial imperial power is basically trying to deny your own identity and take you over as a state. So yes, we have a lot of sympathy and therefore a lot of help. You know, we are the 6th largest donor to Ukraine in terms of GDP per capita, and I think that speaks a lot.
One final question, which is something I think both Finland and Britain are thinking about very hard at the moment, which is the prospect of Donald Trump returning to the White House at the end of the year. Now, we don't quite know what he'd do about NATO because the signals are different from time to time. But if he got back and was re-elected, and if he decided effectively to cut the cord between the United States and the European members of NATO, do you think we could, as it were, survive by ourselves, cope by ourselves?
Well, I think there are too many ifs there. I mean, I always am hesitant to answer conditional questions. But my thesis is that I do not think that Donald Trump would sever his ties with Europe or NATO. And the reason is very simple. He's a transactionalist. And as a transactionalist, he wants the United States to be a superpower. And as a superpower, their biggest enemy, in many ways, is China. And without the support of his allies in Europe, which is still almost a quarter of the world's countries, one of the richest areas in the world and one of the military superpowers, he's not going to be able to do that. So all of this talk that Trump will withdraw from NATO or his support from Ukraine, I simply don't believe in it. And in any case, as the president of Finland or the prime minister of the United Kingdom, we don't have a vote in the US. We take what comes and get along with whoever is the president of the US.
Of course, very, very interesting. Just circling back to the UK, we have our own populism here, as you know. What would you say to people who are quite attracted by the argument that we can sit down and negotiate with Putin? We can get rid of this horrible war, we can get rid of these huge numbers of casualties, and we can get rid of the risk of escalation in the future. Just talk to the guy.
Well, I think the starting point is to say that there are no simple solutions to complex problems, and the war in Ukraine is a complex problem. Of course, I would just like to say that the war ends with Russian troops withdrawing and Putin stopping his war of aggression, but it's not that simple. So that's why I actually think that what we witnessed in Switzerland about a week and a half ago, the first peace forum where almost half the world's countries were represented, is a good start. But we need to talk, I don't deny that. But it's very difficult to talk with a person who simply is in a war which is too big for him to fail.
Mr. Stubb, President Stubb, thank you very much indeed for talking to LBC today. Finland's President Alexander Stubb there. Now, we've got one of our general election constituency deep dives coming up. This time we're going to Dover, a seat that was Conservative until Natalie Elphing's dramatic defection to Labour just a few weeks before this election was called. It's often seen as a cockpit of the debate around immigration, and our reporter, Joseph Draper, has been taking the temperature among its constituents.
The white chalk cliffs on Kent's coast are a symbol of England's rich cultural heritage. But the small town of Dover they overlook is at the centre of a fierce debate on migration and national security.
Our asylum system is being overwhelmed by those travelling illegally across the Channel.
Our asylum system must be rebuilt. Our borders must be secure. welcome to Dover. Welcome to the front line of the great national debate on immigration.
As a key swing seat, Dover has been taken by the winning party at every election since 1997. I asked people here whether this really is the immigration election.
Not just that, it's that and the NHS, because I believe that all the years of underfunding is now come home to roost now.
You feel like Dover's been kind of overlooked and left behind?
I don't think Dover particularly, but I think most towns have now on the coast. But the NHS is on its knees. You know, they keep saying that we're changing the waiting list, and what's it done now? It's going up and up and up.
I feel that we need some people in charge that actually understand, working class needs, because when you've got people who are incredibly wealthy, even though they may be kind and well-intended, they really don't understand what these sort of ground issues are.
More than 800 people crossed the Channel in a single day this month, and Dover faces an asylum system flooded with a backlog of claims. Aram came to the UK as an asylum seeker from Iraq and now works for the charity the Samphire Project, helping others here in Dover.
Some of the politicians, they win by putting poorer people against each other. The homeless man can blame on a migrant because he doesn't have food on his plate, he doesn't have accommodation. We give it all back to the migrant, and that is what we worry about. That's our message is, go out, talk to the immigrant, go out and meet the people of refugees and asylum seekers in this country. Make your own decision.
Another major issue here is Brexit, which barely features in our